Fitz of Writing.
Good evening, everybody. This is Sean with Fitz of Writing. I am here tonight with author Michael Young. Funny story, he's a gentleman that I got to interview previously, but we never quite got around to getting that video put out before it was hauntingly irrelevant. So I believe you were talking a little bit about your Christmas Carol Advent calendar.
Yeah, you bet.
Yep, and it was going to come out just before Christmas, and then I ruined everything. But
No worries. It still did very well that Christmas, and actually every Christmas since it's done really well. So
great, I'm happy to hear that for you.
no worries.
for everybody who doesn't know you and everybody who doesn't follow your YouTube channel, tell us a little bit about yourself, how your story starts, and where it started, and how you got to where you are now.
Yeah, for sure. So right now, my writing is kind of in two different camps. I do fantasy fiction, and I've got a whole bunch of things over in that camp, and then I do some nonfiction about music, typically. And so I've got that, wear that hat sometimes too. I am a musician. I sing in a very well-known choir that tours around. I play piano and all that. So I love music. I write about music. But yeah, I kind of actually I got started in high school. Actually, I grew up just reading everything, and in high school I decided, hey, I wonder if I could do this. Like, could I actually write a novel? And so I challenged myself to try it. And my senior year, I finished a novel. I was like, oh, I can do this. Great, and I never stopped. And I looking back at those first efforts it's pretty fun all those years later, and being like, oh boy, you need to learn a thing or two, kid. But luckily I have improved over the years. And yeah, I'm working kind of, I've got both of those, juggling both of those things between some fantasy stuff, some nonfiction stuff. I find it both extremely satisfying and kind of fun that I can switch back from one to the other, so that keeps things fresh.
Sure, yeah, I can understand that. Nonfiction is something that I've definitely. I don't know what I would write about, but it definitely seems like it's a much different process. But if you are all into writing and everything, it definitely would be a way to, like you said, freshen things up by switching over to a different format and everything. So I think that that's really interesting, and there's not a whole lot of people that I know or have spoken to that do that. So kudos to you for sure.
Thanks. Yeah, it kind of just happened. I don't know. Like I didn't really set out for it to be that way, but it just kind of fell into it, I guess.
Sure. Well, you had mentioned that you wanted to tout a story. Is it a story called A Wonderful Week for a Quest? Tell me a little bit about that.
That's the series title. There's 7 books, hence the first one's A Wonderful Day for a Quest. And there's 7 books, so it's a week of questing, a wonderful week for a quest.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's and I say it's like my love letter to classic fantasy books. It's very it's a humorous sort of fantasy. I kind of in the vein of more of like a Terry Pratchett, Douglas Adams sort of feel to it, or it never takes itself too seriously, but there still are. Even if while you're kind of being, while there are some ridiculous things, it's silly things, but it still is a cohesive story that you can enjoy just for the story's sake.
Well, good.
It's kind of like those guys.
Well, tell me a little bit about like how it begins and where it heads, as much as you feel.
Oh, absolutely. So the first one, so the idea is the first one is it brings together a big cast of characters that all do a quest together, and then books 2 through 6, each of those focuses on one of those characters. They kind of get their book.
Okay.
And then 7 is a big kind of, they all come back together, big kind of finale, right? Kind of like Avengers Endgame sort of thing, where you bring back everybody you met along the way, and there's this great big finale with everybody.
Okay.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. The first one it actually is a lot about Sir Roderick, the really 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 great. He calls himself Sir Roderick 3RG.
Okay.
3 grades. His brother only has 2, and he's a little bit jealous of after his name. Uh, and he start. It's funny. You kind of get to see his progression. He starts out as a very kind of stereotypical hero, save the day knight sort of person, and throughout the quest discovers that he's got more depth to his personality than he realized. Maybe becomes a better person. Yeah, he thinks that he's a good person at the start, where he's saving damsels and slaying dragons, but he realizes there's more to it than that as the quest goes on. And you've got the whole time I'm trying to do things that subvert different fantasy tropes. Like you think you know what's going to go on, and then it's something that subverts your expectations. And I think a lot of the humor comes from that. Like he hears for example, Sir Roderick hears a call of distress from the top of a tower, and he goes to the top expecting to see some horrible monster, and it said it's a damsel with a plumbing problem, and he decides that it's actually much much worse than any dragon he's ever faced.
I like it.
Things like that. Yeah, things like that. Just like you think you know what's going to happen, and then you're like, oh wait, nope. And it's narrated by a wizard character named Jackdaw. So Jackdaw is a kind of bird, because actually the word Merlin is a bird.
Okay.
So he's a distant relative of Merlin's, and all the wizards are named after birds. But he's kind of a bumbling wizard. But here's our narrator, and throughout makes different like footnote comments about different things about the world that I think it adds a lot of the humor to it as well.
Okay.
And what I should say is that if you're interested in this series, the audiobook versions are fantastic. I got this narrator who is just I don't know what I did right to land him, but he's phenomenal. And he's done all 7 books, and they are just a delight to listen to on Audible. So his name is Kevin Perkins, and he does all the different voices. He's added like musical cues and sound effects. Like he just went all out on it.
That's a full service narrator.
Yeah, seriously, what a great guy. But I of course you can just read it. That's great. But I tell you, I almost feel for like the full comedic effect. The audiobook versions are really my favorite.
That's interesting. How'd you find Kevin? Was it like over ACX or something? Or?
Yeah, just over ACX. I he just auditioned. I'm like, oh, he's great.
Wow.
And then he really got into the series, and he was like, oh, I really like this series. This is so fun. I'm having a blast. And so he's like, let's do all the books. And so we did all the books. And the rest is history. But like it's interesting. It kind of the series starts out pretty lighthearted, but it as it goes along, it gets a little bit darker until the kind of the big climactic end. And I don't know. I'm really happy with how how the series progressed as it went on. You got to you get the big top level view of all these characters in the first book, but then with each book you get to know them all better. And kind of see some of the nuances. It was really fun. It was really fun to write, and I think those who have read it have had just great things to say about it. So, me and my audiobook narrator are really just trying to get the word out about that one, because anyone who loves classic fantasy, I think you're going to have a good time with this series.
Well, you heard it here, everybody. Check out if you like classic fantasy, but you also like a little bit of a surprise and having your expectations subverted. You can check out A Wonderful Week for a Quest. Is this like 7 books that are full length novels, novellas?
They're kind of short. The first few are more novella length. They get a little bit longer as it goes on, more novel length.
Okay.
But I am here in not too long actually going to release the whole thing as like one big volume.
Good. Okay.
And that will be available both like physical editions, but also you can get a Kindle. Sorry, not, yeah, Kindle of course, but also like an audiobook. He's putting together all of his different audio into. You can just listen to the whole quest, on Kindle and Audible.
Great. Did you, when you were writing that, did you lay out a lot of groundwork and, do, the best word I can think of is like foreshadow stuff in the beginning that got delved deeper into later on and everything? Did you?
Absolutely, 100%.
You start off knowing where you were headed? Did you outline it, or did you kind of just maybe?
Yeah, I did some good outlining just because I wanted to like. I kind of decided where I wanted the last book to be first, and kind of see like, okay, we all want to get to this point at the end, and so I'm like, and then I thought about each individual book, like how do I get each one of those characters to arrive, at that point, I guess. So yeah, so began with the end in mind, and then filled in kind of loose outlines for each of the books. But I think it's really fun just discovering some new things along the way, especially with fantasy, like when you can do whatever the heck you want, really. Sure. So that as you're writing, you can kind of discover fun little additions and details that you can enrich your original plan with. So that always happens.
Yeah, very true. Even when you are a big outliner. I was just excited to hear that you did outline it, because everybody I've talked to up until now is a pantser. They're the gardener, they're the gardener type. As
the gardener, yeah.
George R.R. Martin says, nobody outlines with me, and I have to do it that way. So it is a breath of fresh air.
It is so much easier to, like you said, to put in those little like foreshadowing, or there's something to pay off later. That's a whole lot easier if you plan it. Yeah, otherwise you're gonna have to come back later and kind of rejigger the whole thing to make that work.
100%. I'm a big fan of feeling like I know where the whole book that I'm writing is more of a recollection that I'm having from the end, kind of like what you said, and that way.
Yeah, I like that. That way of putting it, where I'm just kind of, I went on this trip, and now I'm telling you about it.
Yup, I love it. Well, I was going to ask you a little bit about how the publication going, because if I recall correctly, you are traditionally published with.
I'm both.
Okay, how's that scenario worked out for you?
Yeah, you're pretty good. I think that I've enjoyed some of the traditional publishers I've worked with. I think one of the biggest things is it's sometimes hard to say, oh, you do a few things with a publisher, and then you're like, hey, in my next project, I want to do this. And they're like, like to kind of, it's hard to always share the same vision. Let's put it that way.
Sure.
Like sometimes it's great when, if I'm on the same page with them, and we're both like, hey, excited about a project, it's really fun and really great, and they've got good resources and whatnot. But then they're almost I would say every time I worked with a publisher, I kind of come to this point where it's like, hey, I want to do this, and they're like, great, go do it somewhere else. Like, I thought we were friends.
Right. Fine, I will. I'm taking my book and I'm going home.
Yeah, exactly. I will take my ball. Yeah. And sometimes, like, I kind of feel like I do get it published somewhere else, and I'm like, you're lost, folks. You're lost. This is great.
Yeah, I understand having to stick to a format that you think is going to, keep you running so that you can keep other people getting published and everything. But yeah, sometimes it doesn't hurt to go out on a limb and trust somebody who's done good for you.
Yeah, I don't know. It's confusing to me, because sometimes they don't. It's kind of a black box. Like you hand them a project, and then they go to their little council of secrets council, and you just kind of get back a yay or a nay. There's no. Yeah, like they don't. You're not part of that process, basically.
You would think that it would be helpful to have you involved to clarify a thing or two.
I wish they would. Like, hey, let's sit down and talk about this, and let's see if it's a good fit, and like let's see if we understand your vision for this. But now it's kind of just like here, and then it goes to the secret council, and you get a yay or an A, and that's and a good day, just
So, would you say that you try to traditionally publish, and then if you're not liking the creative direction things are going, or you feel like they're kind of, boxing you in, you just decide to go and do it self-publishing route?
I don't know. I've never really done anything where I got into the process and then decided to withdraw it. That hasn't ever really been the thing. It kind of just depends on how niche a particular book is, especially with like nonfiction. Like there's sometimes I want to do something that this probably doesn't have super huge market. This is only for this very niche group of people. Like I get it that traditional publishers might not want to do that.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I still want to get it out there. That's kind of more what I use it for. Or if or sometimes like this one, the Wonderful Week for a Quest, where I really just wanted to have full control over this. This is kind of my, I had a very particular vision, and yeah, I just kind of wanted to do it myself, do it my way.
No other input allowed.
Well, I still showed it to other people, and got some feedback, but yeah, I that's one I really wanted to have a lot of control over, and I'm really happy with it. I think it turned out it's a really fun adventure. So
it sounds very interesting. It sounds a little bit different from what you hear a lot of fantasy authors are doing nowadays. I've noticed a huge uptick in urban fantasy lately. So
oh yeah, lots of that.
You're sticking to the classical bones, and there's nothing wrong with that. But
yeah,
speaking of
fun at the classic.
well, speaking of the fantasy and everything, last time we talked about the Penultimate Dawn series, and you had told me that you just rewrote the whole series, and you had that one published. Did you work with the same publisher to get it rewritten?
Oh yeah. So I did actually, and we're so the first book has a brand new edition out that with a brand new cover that I think looks fantastic. So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And right now I'm currently in the thick of getting book 2 reworked and out with a new cover as well. And then we'll do book 3. So yeah, that's going really well. That's a more traditional kind of high fantasy, epic fantasy story that I'm really proud of. But yeah, like I said before, sometimes you look back at your writing that you did a while back and say, you know what, I've grown, I've learned, I can do better, and I think there's some stories that deserve a fresh coat of paint. So that's what we're doing.
Well, it's cool to hear that your publisher was willing to work with you on that. It was your idea. Did you break it all the way down to the bones and build it back up from there, or did you just kind of
just some new rounds of edits, and just new perspectives and new eyes, and just kind of reworking some things, adding more clarity. I looked at some of the reviews the old versions have gotten, and kind of worked some of that feedback into there. Just something was confusing, just making, not fundamentally changing the story, but making it more accessible, more clear. Doesn't say, you're just enhancing what was already there.
Well, I think it's a huge deal that you listen to the readers and want to go back and make them happy and get them to take another look, and hopefully you get the feedback from the same folks saying, well, okay, that made me a lot happier. I understand now.
I hope so, yeah. And I mean, it's a story I believed in, and I still believe in, so I jumped at the chance to say, hey, yeah, you work with me? Fantastic. Let's do it. I will put in the hours.
Great. Well, I'm happy for you that you got to do that. You had mentioned that you wanted to talk a little bit about your YouTube channel, and I just wanted to start by asking, are you doing, combining the YouTube with your author work at all, or is it just more of an outlet?
Yeah, my YouTube is a little bit eclectic in that way, but yeah, I'm definitely combining it with some of my author stuff. For example, I created a series of interviews where I interview my characters from The Wonderful Week for a Quest, and I had the audiobook narrator then read them, or in the voices that he uses.
Okay, that's
and so we create, and then I created the graphics for each of the characters, and so like we have the graphics on screen, and then we've got the interview going on with the audiobook narrator reading each one of the characters, and then I made YouTube videos out of each one of those.
I think that's a really interesting idea, and it's a sidestep from like the first thing that comes to my mind is like how Jurassic Park has its movies, but you also can go running around on the internet and find all their InGen's hidden files that really dive deeper into the whole world that the story's in. Really get to know your characters better by having them get asked questions. Are they all pertinent to the story, or just more to get to know the characters?
A little bit of both. Like I don't want if somebody finds that, I don't want them to like to spoil too much, but
Sure.
You kind of get some hints about what's going on, and their personalities and such. I think it turned out really well.
Awesome.
It's super fun. So yeah, I've got like that's one thing. That's one of the tie-ins I've done with my books. There, I do a lot of music as well. The channel's actually called Mic Drop Music. With my MIKE drop, is because my name's Michael. So, but yeah, I do a lot of. I'm also an actor. I do a lot of Broadway stuff. I do a lot of impression stuff. It's a lot of fun. I do some inspirational stuff. Yeah, it's been a lot of fun, and it's doing pretty well. I took it from just a year ago. I had only a couple hundred subscribers, and I'm just about to hit 3,000. So
Congratulations!
Thanks. Yeah, it's been great. So we're growing, and
growing is good. You sound like a real busy guy. Do you, you say you do some stuff on Broadway and act and whatnot? Or have you ever given any kind of thought to writing a screenplay or writing a play?
Oh, I have actually. I haven't produced anything yet, but yeah, I'm actually do have some stage scripts that I'm working on. Yeah, definitely.
Great, that'd be interesting to hear about. One of the things that this channel is doing to kind of broaden our horizons is we are inviting playwrights, screenwriters, and things like that too.
Nice.
Especially somebody like yourself who has a bit of a following and whatnot. If you ever wanted to give that kind of a shout out and everything to let people know that you're something like that, you're welcome to.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, I think I've been in a lot of stage productions and such, and I absolutely love it. So, I've got several really, really fun projects in the works that I do hope someday to see on stage. But it's kind of my wheelhouse too. With combining, I usually write like musical productions, since that's kind of my bread and butter. But I'd love to talk about that too. It's a lot of fun.
Very curious as to how somebody can sit down and. I myself was a musician, a vocalist. It was a metal band with my brother, but
nice.
Writing songs is its own little weird way of storytelling and everything like that. But
it is.
I do enjoy musicals, and I think that you've got to have a really serious set of storytelling chops to be able to, kind of seamlessly incorporate both dialogue and music. And so, yeah, I'd love to talk more about that eventually.
It is a whole different beast. Yeah. And you just have to get really good at, I don't know, you like when you go from writing a novel to writing a show, like, man, your real estate shrinks to that. And you got to get really, really good at just, making it punchy and making everything count.
I believe it. Yeah. No, that's very interesting. And I don't think that we discussed that the last time you and I spoke. So that was fun to find out.
Oh, thanks.
I definitely do want to hear more about that. But first, given where we're at in the timing, I would like for you to talk about the interesting, coolest fact that you gave me the last time we spoke, just to rub it in Ryan's face. Tell me about the time you met Brandon Sanderson and you were on a judge panel with him, if I recall correctly.
Oh, sure. So I was on it was a workshop panel where I was the moderator of the panel. Brandon. So I live in Utah. Brandon lives in Utah as well, just actually a few towns down. I once ran into him at it's kind of this indoor playground for kids. I had my kids there, and he was there with his kids, and like, Brandon, hey, but anyway, in this case, it was a writers' conference. I was I believe it was a world building panel talking about magic systems, and then he was on my panel, was moderating it, and I just got the impression I got was like, you know what, this guy really knows his stuff. It's not, of course, I know that from reading his books and stuff, and that how good he is at building worlds and whatnot. But he was also able just to communicate it so well, like, and kind of break it down, his thought processes, and sometimes you meet people who are really famous and they're not as impressive in person. And I thought, like, actually, he's quite impressive in person. He seems like a little bit more introverted, like when he's just like in social situations or he's just walking around, he'll talk to you, but like, but when he got into teacher mode, I was like, oh man, like this is his elements. He's because he actually teaches also. I work for a university, and he teaches some creative writing classes at that university, and there's like this huge wait list every semester to get into his section.
Sure.
But yeah, I've definitely rubbed shoulders with him a bit, and that's been really cool.
I get to talk to you, and Ryan doesn't. Right. I'm keeping that in for sure. I just want him to watch that, and I want him to know that I knew the whole time. Oh yeah, we like to rib each other, but we just did a intro video where I was kind of introducing him to the channel and whoever was left to watch the videos, and he had talked about how he was educating himself with writing using Brandon Sanderson's YouTube channel where he was giving his lectures, so you'd be able to sit there for a few hours. Yeah. And he said that they were extraordinarily helpful. And I agree. I think that they're very insightful and they're very, very focused. They get a lot more into the nitty gritty than some of the 15-minute videos that you find out there on YouTube. And
I agree. He's very generous to like kind of put all that stuff out there. It's not like trying to charge you an arm and a leg for it.
I think he seems like he's a really good guy. I would love to eventually talk to him someday. But would you say that any one of his particular books have inspired any of yours? Or I don't want to say inspired, but like, did they kind of help you shape the way that you wrote your books?
Well, sure. I love his in his Mistborn series, how he incorporates, he shows how different religions are formed in his world. Like there's the one guy who sacrifices himself in the first book, and how like a religion forms around him. I thought that was really interesting, kind of showing the birth of different systems of belief within your world. And so I incorporated a little bit, kind of asking myself some of those similar questions, like say in the penultimate dawn, series, the hunger starts with the book called The Hunger. But yeah, that where these belief systems are important and so integral to what's going on in the story. Sure. So I've definitely taken a lot of notes from him to let's say, just because he does a lot of really, really interesting world building things, and I want my worlds to be kind of that same sort of, wow, I could tell you really thought about that, and
sure.
And it's not just there to be like, oh, that's fun, but like it actually does something in the story. It influences the characters and their the plot.
Yeah, absolutely.
Their conflict. So
I've been trying to ask folks, like, what's one thing that you like to have when you're writing, and has kind of become a must-have to help you get really in the zone?
Oh, I would say when I'm writing, I just need to be. It's got to be the right spot, like in my house.
Okay.
Like I got to be like comfortable enough to, and not be distracted by like, in my chair, but like not so comfortable that I felt like I'm gonna well, it's a long day. I'm gonna drift off to sleep. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess my environment is just really important, as long as so that it's um, not going to take me out of the kind of the zone that I'm in.
Very good. I like that. I've heard recently somebody said that they like to put on ambient music, not necessarily anything, not necessarily has to be music, but like rainfall and things like that really helps them get.
Oh, sure, white
in.
noise.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm guilty of. I have to have a particular horror movie on that I've seen so many times that I like the background noise, but it doesn't pull my attention away.
Yeah, you're like, okay, I know what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool.
If you say so. It's just something that made me wonder.
That's interesting. I haven't heard someone ever say that. That's yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
Curious.
to speak to the environment, I do all my writing in my room. I prefer to write while I'm, sitting up on my bed and everything, in a good comfy spot. I could never go write at like a Starbucks or something like that, like some folks do.
Oh yeah, that does not sound fun to me either.
Oh,
No.
yeah, I get super overstimulated there. Too many people walking in and out. But okay.
And people randomly calling names.
Oh.
So James is here.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Ugh, no thanks.
Go get your coffee, James.
Yeah.
I
Free sometime. Oh, sorry. Sometimes I don't know what it is, but I put Michael, and half the time the people call Michelle still. I'm like, yep. Like I have.
I'll roll with it. Whatever.
Yeah, I go with the French accent. I'm Michelle. Yeah.
There you go. Well, Michel.
No, I don't know.
Michel in Dodgeball was a extremely not French man.
That's true. That's true.
So,
It's a funny movie. Yeah.
Fitness consigliere.
Consigliere. Oh man, that's too good.
So we're gonna just start kind of dying things down here. I did want to make sure that you announce to everybody, like, obviously we've discussed Mike Drop Music on YouTube. Everybody go and subscribe to his channel.
Please do.
And where would you say, like, on what social media platforms are you the most active, where you're feeling like you have the most success kind of getting people's eyeballs on your activities as well as your product?
Yeah, for sure. I'm on. I do post on X. I post on. I've got a Facebook group. I have an email like newsletter that I send out once a month. That's been pretty effective. YouTube channel, of course. Yeah, and I have my author website is just authormichaelyoung.com. It's nice and straightforward.
Great.
And if you're interested in my email list, you can sign up from that homepage.
Okay, great. And we'll put all of those links down in the description for everybody, as well as a link to the wonderful Week for a Quest, and that way you guys can get in there and start perusing his both that work and everything else that he's written. Would you prefer that I just have a link to Amazon, or is there somewhere else you prefer people buy it from?
Oh, that's good. Yeah, I'd say do Amazon and Audible, because if you're into audiobooks, it's a really, really fun audiobook.
Michael, I've heard a lot of folks have been touting TikTok. I'm sorry, lately, and BookTok on there. Have you meddled around with that too much, or seen any kind of real results coming from there?
I haven't really. I put up a few things, but I keep on hearing like, oh, it's gonna get, it's all going, it's getting shut down. Like, oh no, it's not, but yes, it could. You're like, I am a little just skittish about putting a lot of stuff, a lot of effort into it, and where it really could get shut down any day in the United States. So I don't know. I think if there's some way, if eventually they came to some agreement where it would definitely be okay, and I wouldn't lose all that effort. I think for now I'm just going to stick to YouTube.
Perfect. YouTube's not going anywhere. So
yeah, YouTube should be fine. So
thanks.
For now, that's my strategy and my reasoning behind that.
Great. Well, I like that. I'd say that we are just about out of time here, so if there's anything else you'd like to say for everybody before we wrap, go ahead.
All right, well, just find is what you love to do, and just make it work. Figure out a way to do it. This all the I do a lot of different kinds of creative things, and can't tell you how much it enriches my life. And I just hope that what I write then is also can also go out and make other people's lives better. But yeah, I just say find your thing and just go for it. I like I said, I started in high school, and I just kind of decided like I'm just going to try this, and it turned into this huge, wonderful thing in my that's given me so many opportunities. That's helped me support my family. That's just yeah, you just never know where it's going to go. So I just say like if there's something you're waiting to take the plunge on, just do it, just try it, and that you never ever know.
Couldn't say it any better. I really appreciate you giving me another shot to talk to you, and
Hey, no worries.
let everybody find out about your stuff. And hopefully, this does a little bit of work for you as well. Everybody who's
Really
watching,
appreciate it.
oh, absolutely. Please subscribe to Mike's channel, follow him on his newsletter and everything. And please, if you don't mind, like, subscribe, share our videos here on this channel. And then we will be back next week. Thanks so much. Just for you, Ryan, fade to black.